I know you clicked on this video because you want to start reselling or you have a reselling business that you want to scale. And you're in the perfect place because I made over 100K reselling at the age of 16. And I've also helped over 400 resellers make 5 to 6 figures, and they were all in between the ages of 12 to 17, showing you that reselling is one of the easiest business models in 2025. There's no age requirement. You could be 12, you could be 7, you could be 38. You can do this from anywhere around the world, like me, who started in my grandparents' basement with literally no money. Now make sure you guys do stay to the end of the video because I'm gonna be exposing the untapped method I use to be able to get way more profit per sale. I'll also expose the most recent scams that these resellers have been doing to you guys. I've been on 3 vacations, and the third one being the city that I now live in, where I came here and I saw a whole different side of life. After experiencing this side of life, 2 weeks later, I decided to actually move here and buy myself a house as a birthday present. Turned 17 and had my first and far from last big birthday shoot. I've always wanted something like that. I failed my permit test and decided to drive a C8 for the day. I did all this within the last 3 months. Those are the results that I've generated with reselling. I didn't have to clock in at a certain time or anything like that. I pretty much just made the money from the comfort of my home. Reselling was able to change me and over 400 of my students' lives. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you guys exactly how you can start or scale your reselling business in the 4th quarter of 2025. Coming from somebody who still resells physical products, not just rich off vendor links or a course. Now, the top misconception that I see behind reselling is that it's too oversaturated and there's not enough space in the market to make money, which is totally wrong. And that's exactly why in this video, I'm gonna give you guys a 10-step course with no gatekeeping allowed. How you can scale your reselling business and what the top resellers are doing to get such a high rate of sales. It's very simple. You're just buying products from Apple AirPods to Apple watches to cologne, designer shoes, bust down watches. Just buying these products for more than 60% off from a vendor that makes them one-to-one. Then you're just turning around and reselling it at the normal price. Now, a lot of people do ask me, what does one-to-one mean? It means a vendor purchased the real item and made the fake one side by side, so there's nothing different. Same material, same stitching, same graphics. I remember a long time ago, bro, ever since I was a tiny kid, I remember watching resellers go to the store, buying a product, cleaning up that product, and then going to sell it. It's been popular for years and years to resell stuff, but I think the only reason that reselling reps blew up so much, because if you're normally reselling and you see a product that's very trending, you have to go find that product somewhere in store or go buy that off somebody and then try to resell it for higher. Yeah, I don't have to go through any of that trouble because all I do is send my vendor $40 and I now have a product I can go resell for over $300. So you're getting way more profit per sale and you're not even spending close to as much because are way cheaper than the real thing. And that's exactly why resellers who already resell products, but they're gonna go to reselling because there's way more profit in it and you don't have to search as hard for these products or clean as hard for these products. You simply send your vendor money and now you have the product in the mail. And all the resellers that I talk to tell me that it makes them mad. They've been reselling for years and somehow there's resellers just getting in the game now and they're already up 10 to 100K. So why would they not switch over? Now, I don't really get the point on why they were losing out on that much money for that many years just so they could say the product was real. But you know, we all have our own times and maybe they just didn't know where to get reps. You have to actually have a place to buy this product from. So I'm gonna quickly go over what's the difference between a vendor, a shipping agent. Shipping agents are familiar with the best ports and the best shipping prices, the best shipping companies and stuff like that, so that way vendors don't have to go find it themselves. Kind of like if I'm in China and I have a big batch of product I want to send to somebody, but I could either go to a shipping agent and pay 50 or go do it myself and pay 200. So if you ever see anything like Keiko Buy or Who Buy, all these apps don't sell their own product. They just have a bunch of sellers on their app, and once a seller does get a sale, then they have the best shipping company, so that way you can get cheaper shipping labels, you can ship faster, and have a better support system in case the product doesn't go through or it gets there messed up or anything like that. Obviously, going with this, you're not going to make as much money because you're pretty much going through a middleman, which means off the rip, you're going to have to pay more because they need their profit as well. Now, with a vendor, they're figuring out the shipping method. They're figuring out what's going to happen if the product comes messed up. They're figuring that all out by themselves without having to go through a shipping agent or anybody who has experience with that. So you are kind of taking a risk. Your package is way more likely to be caught in customs, but at the same time, you're not paying as much money. Me personally, I always go buy off vendors. Take that risk every time and shop with a vendor instead of a middleman because I don't want to pay that extra price. Another reason I like to go with vendors is because I like to connect with them. I like to kind of get to know them. When you have a shipping agent or when you have a shipping company or anything like that, you're just talking to a bunch of customer service people. I like to get to know my vendors. I want to see their factory. I want to see how they make their products. How much did they pay for the product and how much are they selling it to me for? I want to know the front, the back. I want to know the ins and outs. I want to know everything about everything. Most of the time, if a vendor is in China, then they're probably selling clothes or shoes. If a vendor's in the US, most of the time it's not going to be clothes. It's just going to be AirPods, cologne, Dyson, speakers, just a lot of different devices. Now, when you guys do get a lot of these WhatsApp vendors, you guys don't even know how to use them. They all have their own country code. It's a US based vendor, it's going to be +1. If it's a China vendor, it's gonna be plus 8.6. If it's an India vendor, which India vendors are mostly known for selling like watches, chains, rings, grills, then it's gonna be plus 9.1. Keep that in mind because I see a lot of people get a China vendor, but then they keep the US code on the back. Now, most of the time, China vendors are very cheap on their products, and then they're very expensive with the shipping because their profit all comes from shipping. It's kind of like an excuse for them. Like if they charge a high ass price for a shirt, you're gonna be like, why are you charging that much for a shirt? If they charge a high ass price to ship across a couple countries, then you're gonna be like, okay, that probably makes, it still doesn't make sense, but you're probably gonna think, okay, that makes more sense. It's kind of an excuse for them to be able to charge you out the ass. You always gotta be careful and compare vendors' prices because sometimes vendors will charge you insane prices because people pay the price. People pay the price, so why would they stop if the process isn't broken? Now, most of the time, if it's a US vendor, their shipping is very cheap and their products are very expensive. Now, let's talk about these shipping times. As far as China, I've never seen a package come any quicker than I would say like 9 days. India, most of the time it's gonna be 5 to 6 days. Every watch that I've ever ordered got here within a week. Now, obviously you guys know US based vendors, 2 to 6 day shipping. Now let's talk about you guys actually getting started. Nowadays, bro, you have to pay to play. When I very first started, bro, you couldn't just get a package within 5 days that has a receipt with it. Nowadays, bro, you can literally order a cologne and get it within 5 days and it has a receipt. So you bought the cologne for 30 and now you're gonna go resell it for any price you want because you have a receipt. And the people that are making the most money are the people that are using receipts, view bots. So like I said, bro, you kind of have to pay to play. If I have a receipt for every one of my products, as well as I can just pay a random website to make my eBay account look authentic and give it reviews, and if I can just pay to do something that easy, then what makes you think you can compare it to what I can do? That's exactly what I'm saying by you kind of have to pay to play. You guys would be surprised. A lot of resellers, their followers are not real. The views on their videos, not real. Comments, not real. If any of you guys pay attention to the people who are boosting their listings, so when you look that item up, there's this very first. It's cool and all, but everybody loves to talk about that. Like that's gonna be the deal breaker when every reseller I know does that. I talk to a lot of resellers and the top thing that is scaring them or holding them back from actually starting or getting to the next 100 levels is the fact that they're scared of getting scammed. Because the way that I've always looked at it, even from day one of me reselling, is every time you buy a vendor and get scammed, you're just getting one step closer to getting one that works. I guess you could say I'm right. I think you guys just put way too much on the word scam because even to this day I get scammed. I want to have the best vendors. So what do? I go to every reseller's page and I'll go on their Shopify and buy their vendor. Every reseller you've probably even seen on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, I've probably bought their vendor because I like to filter through all these vendors so I can find the best ones. Now think about it. If I bought off all those different resellers, you think I just never got scammed? No, bro. I've been scammed at least over 40 times. Like I said, I do filter through hundreds of vendors to find the best ones, so I will leave a link in the description to all of mine, as well as my community, the Resell Vault, where we print receipts, video guides, weekly calls, and a lot of different bots in there. And that's exactly where you guys can find me at to interact with me, find calls with me. I'll leave those 2 links in the description. Now, once you do get a vendor that you're comfortable with, you're gonna wanna do product research, so that way you know you're buying a product that's gonna sell good, not a product that another reseller told you to, because he told another 1,000 resellers to buy that exact same product, which means you just put yourself in a lane with so much competition. Now, obviously you can try to do product research on any marketplace that you want, but the marketplaces that actually let you see what's being sold at what price and what date: eBay, Mercari, and Facebook Marketplace. Now, 9 times out of 10, if a clothing item is selling good on eBay and Mercari, that means it's gonna sell good everywhere. Let me show you guys 2 real life examples on how you can look for a product that's trending that you know is gonna sell good. You can do product research and know if a product's gonna make you a lot of money by just looking it up and seeing what it's being sold at. So if we look up a chrome heart jersey, 170, 115, 425, 200. Now, when you see a product being sold at that price, it's clearly not ran down because most shirts are being sold at around 50 to 100. You see a shirt that's being sold anywhere from 2 to 600, that's obviously somewhere you want to be. Once we look at that, we know that's a semi-good of a product because they're being posted for very high. None of them are being posted for around 50 or 60 or those low prices. Obviously, you guys do know Chrome Hearts is blowing up right now. I tell everybody about this, that if you're not reselling Chrome Hearts, then you're pretty much fucking yourself. Kind of hard to find the jersey sales because how many Chrome Hearts is being sold every day. Now, keep in mind, you're buying this jersey for $30. So 160 is wonderful profit. Now, this is how you find a product that you just know is gonna sell. 1, it's Chrome Hearts. 2, they're being sold super high. 3, the jerseys are on the uprise. You see more and more celebrities wearing them every week. So those 3 confluences right there is exactly what would make me go buy a bulk order of that one jersey. Different sizes and colors. That right there is what would have let me know that I should probably go buy that. I do want to pay attention if we're scrolling up, or size XL, size medium, size XL. Look right here, size medium. So if we see all these are being sold, medium and size XL, most of them are white, blue, or black. Those are the only things we should be buying. We're not gonna go buy a green and yellow chrome heart jersey because chrome heart jerseys are popular. You have to pay attention to specifically what size and what colorways are doing the best. Doing that is exactly how you're gonna get to a place like I did, because you're doing something that no resellers are out there doing. Most resellers wait for another popular reseller to drop a video and talk about a good product, and then they'll go steal that product and sell that product. Most resellers are not coming on here every other day to check the markets. After you guys do find the product that you want and you're comfortable with and you believe in it, truly believe in it, not just think that it looks good so you're gonna go sell it. Truly believe in it and have reasons why you think it's gonna sell. That's when you need to go buy off the vendor. All my vendors are WhatsApp, so I'm gonna give you guys instructions on how you're gonna hit up a WhatsApp vendor. The very first, you're gonna click the green plus on the top right. Once you click that, you need to pay attention to what country that this number is in. It starts with A6, it's obviously a China number. Click new contact, and then you're gonna click United States, type 86, and click China mainland, and just paste the rest of the number in. Same with the India vendor, if it starts with 91, after you click new contacts, you're gonna wanna click United States, type 91, and click India. You're simply just gonna text the vendor saying, hi, I'm interested in purchasing your product, can I see your catalog? Pretty much just a big document or a big file of what the vendor sells. So you're gonna go in his catalog, take a screenshot of whatever you want. From there, you just send it to the vendor and ask for the price, including shipping, so that way you know the total amount that you're about to pay. And pretty much order the product. Depending on what the product was, I would say 2 to 5 days after, you're gonna wanna text the vendor if it was a vendor in China or India and ask them for your tracking number. By then, the product should already be close to you. Ask a few days later. It's kind of annoying when you just ask a day later, where's my tracking, this, that. It just gets annoying. And if you're annoying to a vendor, you're not getting good deals. Even if you say you came from No Sales, this person, that person, you're not getting good deals. You never want to be annoying. If a vendor is not texting back off rip, don't spam the vendor, don't call the vendor, don't do too much. I see a lot of people, if the vendor doesn't text back within the first hour, they're gonna call the vendor, they're gonna text the vendor over and over, and that's exactly how you get blocked. That's how you never get any products sold. You guys do have to understand that people gravitate to the best vendors, so if there's 10 clothing vendors and only one of them is the best, and you're gonna text that vendor, he obviously has the most clients. So if you think you're the only person texting these vendors WhatsApp, I promise you, far from that. While the products are on the way, you're gonna wanna start trying to stack up buyers. So obviously you guys know my AirPod and my cologne vendor is US based, so once you order that, it's gonna be there within 6 days. So the day you order that product, you need to go on OfferUp and look that item up and take somebody else's photos and go post it up as your own. And do that on every single marketplace. Then once the product gets there, you'll already have a buyer ready, so that way you can go sell out and buy more product within that same day. Now, this is exactly where my reselling career took off. I realized I could buy AirPods or cologne and have them within the same week with the receipt and an Apple bag, or for cologne, receipt, and Sephora tag. Within that week, I can stack up clientele, so when it gets here, I can sell out and buy more in that same day. Once I figured that method out, oh my God. Because you can do this 4 to 5 times a month and it only gets bigger. You're gonna be quickly stacking a lot of fucking money. That right there is one of the things I wasn't gonna expose, because that's one of the main things that I teach my students to do when they very first start to make the quickest amount of money. Like I told you guys before, I'm not doing no gatekeeping in this video. Now, if you don't use it, that's entirely off you, because I promise you I'm making somebody over 10K just by making this video. When you are doing this method, you wanna make sure that you're selling the right items on the right marketplaces, because some items just don't do good on some marketplaces. They're not even allowed to be sold there. Let me just tell you guys where me and my students sell certain items so we can guarantee sales. But that being said, most clothes, most shoes is doing very well on Depop. Depop isn't somewhere you want to go to sell some cologne or some AirPods. They're going to return it and you're basically going to get an empty box of AirPods or an empty bottle of cologne, and there's nothing you can do because the app's going to take their side. And on top of that, those are the highest rate of listings being taken down is AirPods and cologne, because that's the biggest product that most resellers are selling. And these apps catch on very quick. So you posting those products up on Depop is the best way to just fuck yourself. And that's exactly why I'm making this segment. So like I said, all clothes, accessories, and shoes should be sold on Depop. Don't try to bring cologne or devices on there at all. Now, can you do it? Of course you can. At your own risk. The same goes for Mercari and Vinted. Obviously, Vinted is way more high secure. You almost can't even take a picture of your product and post it up. You have to grab a stock image and post that up, which is basically a picture of the product with a white background. But Mercari and Vinted are also good for clothes, shoes, accessories, just designer, anything. OfferUp and eBay are the overall shoe goats. OfferUp specifically, but eBay does do good for shoes as well. But eBay is kind of one of those places that's like, you can't really niche shit. There's over 100 items in every niche being sold every day. Whether it's a blender, an RC car, ring light, a whiteboard, or some designer shoes. There's always going to be something being sold on there, whether it's a bust down watch, pendants, anything. So eBay can be used for everything. OfferUp, I would say, go specifically for shoes. I do have a few students who actually use my shoe vendor to pass hella shoes through StockX. I personally don't do this method anymore just because I've seen way too many resellers get sued in the last 2 months and I'm not trying to be next. So obviously do that method specifically at your own risk. You'll make a shit ton of money, but it is a big risk because you can make 100K off it, and the one moment that they catch on to you, now you're gonna have to pay back over 200K. And that's exactly why I don't do Goat or StockX anymore. Now let's talk about selling watches, because this is one of my top asked questions. Where do you sell watches? How much do you sell them for? Where do you buy these watches? So all these questions really depend on your city and if you want to sell online or just locally. If you're in a place like Houston, Miami, LA, or a high populated area where there's a lot of rappers, wannabe rappers, gangsters, trying to be content creators, all these different people, these are the people who buy watches. So if you're in a high populated city like that, that's honestly the biggest glitch. Me personally, I'm from Utah and I now live in Arizona. Like, these places compared to a place like Miami where I have a lot of students going crazy with watches from Rolexes, Cartiers, APs. There's so many people buying those watches that it will never get oversaturated. All you have to do is put yourself in a place where they're gonna come buy it off you and not the next person. If you do plan to sell locally, I would say the very first place I would ever go is OfferUp and Facebook. Touchdowns sell very good on Facebook. Just make sure whoever you're gonna meet up with, you check their profile out. If it says it was created in 2025 and there's no profile picture, you probably shouldn't meet with them. Even if it's at a public place, bro. People get robbed in front of Walmarts and stores all the time. Stores are not that high security, bro. If somebody robs you in front of a store, cops are not gonna get there by the time they leave. So saying meet at a public place is probably the dumbest shit most of these resellers say, because that does nothing for somebody who doesn't care. There's real gremlins out here and they don't give a fuck who's watching them. So meeting in front of a bunch of civilians does absolutely nothing. Go to the police station. I promise you nobody's robbing you at the police station, and if they do, they're dumb as fuck because you're getting your watch back within an hour. The top places that I would sell these watches online: 1, eBay. Now you might not get too many sales on eBay, but if you price your watch at a good price and you boost your listing, you have a very good chance at it actually getting sold. The only issue is that there's a lot of resellers on there, so it's not guaranteed. But the one place that I don't see resellers is these watch exchanges. If you guys go on Google right now and look up watch exchange, there's Reddit watch exchanges. There's watch exchanges everywhere that nobody talks about. And Moissanite's being sold daily for over 2K. As far as the top watches being sold in the 4th quarter, you know I got them right here. It could be red, blue, green, anything. People just love Cartiers and people just love skeletons. And speaking of skeleton, the next one being sold best is the AP skeleton. But this watch right here is just dangerous because there's no watch that I've ever seen that you just don't see that much. And that makes it so people will spend so much on an item. Like when people love to say I have one of 20 Lamborghinis. Lamborghini made 20 of those for one reason. Your brain is gonna think it's so cool that there's only 20 of them, so you'll pay them out the ass. They already know what they're doing. And that's the exact same thing I'm doing. It's really just called the Lamborghini method. No, I'm just trolling. But like I said, these 2 watches right here are the ones being sold the best. Now I actually did sell out of my last plain Jane Rolex, but let's have a quick talk about plain Janes. Because I don't think people understand that plain Janes are being sold just as much as Moissanite is. You just don't see it because you're not attracted to plain Janes. You don't know what you don't see, so you wouldn't even know if they're selling good because you've never checked. Now this AP right here is the last AP you want to resell. This is for personal use. I wear this myself. I would never try to resell this. This is the most overplayed watch, the most used watch, the most worn watch. Rolex, on the other hand, has so many different versions. And like I told you guys before, I did sell my Rolex. You didn't want to pay extra for the box and bag, so I do still have this. Make sure when you guys are reselling these watches that your vendors are verified. You have to come with the shopping bag, the box, well really 2 boxes, and the papers. If you don't have these right here, you might as well kiss your reselling watches career goodbye. I do have a shitty vendor that doesn't send with any of that stuff, like a lot of vendors don't, because they just want to skimp you and get your money. All mine will be in the description. I've never sold a watch where a person didn't ask me for that. Another question I get asked a lot: where do you sell your devices at? The best place to sell devices is Facebook Marketplace, especially with it being the very first marketplace that pops up when I ask where should I be selling devices. Without me even looking this up, I already knew this. I have 3 phones, and on each phone I have over 7 marketplace accounts, and on each account I have 2 to 8 listings. So when people are looking through all these listings and they think they have options, oh, this seller's selling this one or this seller's selling that one, they think they have all these options when the whole time they're all just me. I post on so many accounts just in one city and the cities surrounding that literally all you're gonna see is my listings. And I'm not gonna stop until all I see is my listings. And that's exactly why Facebook is overpowered as fuck. I can't do that on any other marketplace but Facebook. If you don't already know it's popular or you're not familiar with it, all you simply need to do is pay attention to streamers and rappers. Those 2 right there, if Kaisa Nat and DDG decides to wear something next week, it's gonna be a new trend. So off rip, that's a money glitch. If you just study that right there, that's a quick money glitch. Anything they wear, make sure you're selling it. Now, if you're still in school, you should be paying attention to what kind of designer are people wearing. wearing. Don't let anybody walk past you and be like, oh wow, that was a cool ass outfit. No, you need to figure out what brand that is, because somebody else in that same school probably saw him in that cool ass outfit and they want one for themselves, but they don't want to pay that much. And that's exactly where you come in. Let's move on from that topic and go to a very big segment that I get most asked about, the segment that I make my most money with, the segment that people hate me for, receipts. Now, it's up to you whether you want to start reselling with receipts or make at least a few hundred profit and then go start reselling with receipts. Now, the printer does cost $160, and if you want extra rolls of paper, that's like another $50. So this is going to be around $200. But you do need this receipt printer. It's very, very mandatory. Me personally, I was reselling for almost a full year before I found out about receipts. And the same month I found out I could use receipts is when I hit my highest month at the time, which was 12K. And that shit felt great, especially because I was hitting 5K months, 5K, 5K, 5K. As soon as I started using receipts, the roof just raised. And I felt like I was missing out. Like, why was I not doing this a year ago? And it's because when I first started, bro, you had to make a receipt on like PicArt or Canva. Like, you didn't have ExpenseFast or DocDesk or any of these websites. And that's exactly why it low-key makes me mad when I see resellers get into the game and then they don't even use receipts to their advantage. Because it's like, bro, when I started, I didn't have receipts. I couldn't make that money if I wanted to. You guys have it in your fucking lap and still don't use it. Me being very, very brutally honest, I would not be sitting in this chair making this video in this house if I didn't start using receipts. Believe me if you want, but if you're at a place in your reselling career where you can't make that much more money because you're just hitting a ceiling, post one product up with a receipt. Watch what happens. And the minute you see those results, bro, look at it from a standpoint of when you're scrolling through a bunch of listings and they all look the exact same, a plain ass background with the product just sitting there. And then you see one with the receipt in it. So now there's an extra object that's in this one photo, but not all these photos. Clearly you're gonna click on it. Now the next thing receipts do for you: no lowballing. The reason so many people lowball you is because they think your product is fake. And what these people do is they watch your listings for fucking weeks and months on end. When that product's not being sold, they're gonna offer you 100 to 200 under your actual price because they see you're not selling it. I said they're suspicious of it being fake, so they're gonna lowball you. So if it is fake, they didn't pay that much for it anyways. But when you have a receipt, it's pretty much proof it's authentic. Now let's talk about how you guys can actually start printing receipts. For anyone who does want to start printing receipts now, I'll leave a link to the printer and the paper in the description. The receipt printer does come with its own roll of paper. If you do get a lot of sales already, I promise this is going to speed up your sales, so you might want to get extra paper. So like I said, I'll leave you guys a link in the description where you can get both of these. Me personally, I don't like any other receipt printers. This is the one I stuck with because it's the most simple. It prints the best. It does cost more, but it's like you're not cutting any corners. You're getting straight to the point. It's one of the best printers that businesses use, so why would I not use it? The one thing is, for some reason, this receipt printer doesn't work for MacBooks or any Apple devices at all. For anyone who doesn't know, I spent a bunch of money on an iMac just to figure out that it doesn't even work with the receipt printer. I ended up having to purchase this computer just so I could print receipts. I want to save you guys a lot of time, so if you do have a MacBook, you might want to get a different printer or just find somebody around you who has a different computer that they could connect to this. That being said, when you do first get your printer, the very first problem is that it doesn't print dark enough. We all have this problem. Don't even worry about it. It's not just you. Super simple. All you do is just plug the printer into the computer just like that, and then you should see a little notification right there saying that the printer is connected and it was detected by your USB. Where it says destination, you're going to want to put it to your printer. Now, this is what your receipt is going to look like before. You guys see the shading on it? It's just way too light. I only use ExpenseFast. I don't really like DocDesk, so this is ExpenseFast. Now this is what it normally looks like, but you're going to want to click on all these words where you see right here. You're going to want to click the bold font. Now this text is way darker. Now since it's all scrunched together, you're going to want to start moving stuff around and down a little. Once you move everything down enough and you click the bold font, here's the difference. This is what your first receipt's always going to look like, and this is what it's going to look like after you're a little more experienced. Just as a disclaimer, I don't actually use these receipts for real sales. This is strictly just for fraud prevention, and unfortunately I can't go any deeper into, you know, the price, the taxes, and the locations. But yeah, we'll cut it off here. Guys, ExpenseFast is the one that I was just using, but a lot of my students do like DocDesk better. Both pretty much do the same thing. I'm pretty sure DocDesk just has email receipts, so that's why people like it. I personally don't use email receipts. I've met up with a lot of people that tell me they tried to buy something off a shoe reseller and he basically showed him an email receipt that he could tell was fake. And people have told me this multiple times, so people already know that email receipts are fake, and that's exactly why they're never expecting a physical receipt. So right now it's better than ever to actually start printing receipts, because I'm telling you guys now, 6 months down the line, receipts are going to be so oversaturated. The site does cost $15 a month, which is not a lot, obviously, because you can make that back with your first sale. If you don't want to pay that $15 every month, all you have to do is just pay for it one time, edit the templates, save it to your drive, and then you could just cancel your subscription subscription and you still have all those templates and you never have to pay again. Now, as you guys know, I run a full reselling community, as well as I have 90,000 followers on Instagram. So day in, day out, I talk to hundreds of resellers. Their biggest problem is people paying to get their stuff passed through on eBay or all these authenticators. It's very simple, bro. People just want to see something that makes them think it's real. Just something that makes them think it's real. It could be a big thing, a little thing. It just has to be something. So either you could pay $160 for your receipt printer and never have to deal with getting your stuff passed through again because you have proof that it's authentic. Or you could simply just, hold on to your little investment and just miss out on all those sales. Moving on from receipts, let's talk about one of the crucial parts when it comes to reselling, your listings. Everybody always tries to buy these nice ass backgrounds. Oh, let me get some nice grass or a black or white sheet. That shit doesn't matter at all. I promise you, all that time you took to take those pictures, you could have went on OfferUp or Pinterest, took somebody else's pictures and already had 10 plus items posted up. You guys gotta think about it, bro. If I'm this high level of a reseller and I don't even use my own pictures that much, then why the fuck are you? If you genuinely want to take your own pictures and you want to be a photographer, go ahead, but it's just a waste of time, money, and energy. When it comes to these listings, the pictures you use is kind of just niched on the marketplace that you're going to be posting it on. So if it's Vinted, Grailed, or eBay, you're off rip going to want to use a stock photo. On eBay, you don't physically have to because, people don't and they don't get their listings taken down. But when you do take your own picture of a rep, bro, it's a high ass chance it's going to get taken down because they're going to have a bot look over the whole picture. And if they see 1 square inch that looks off, they're gonna take it down. That's exactly why I just use stock photos. I hate dealing with that. Ever since I started using stock photos, I haven't had one listing get removed. Like I said, those 3 marketplaces, you're gonna wanna use stock photos. The rest of them, just take other people's pictures. They have to be very clear cut pictures like these 2 right here. Nothing like these 2 right here. You don't want no socks in the background or the camera to be foggy or the picture to be taken from too far away. The picture literally has to be perfect. If it's a listing that you think you would genuinely click on and you would buy from that person rather than everybody else, I would say use that exact picture. For the title, everybody always says some cool, crazy. It doesn't have to be anything special at all. If it's a babe t-shirt, I'll literally just say white babe t-shirt. Now this part right here is where people get their listings taken down every fucking time. Leave it unbranded. Do not mark the brand. When the app asks you what condition it's in, you're gonna want to do used like new, don't do new, and don't do brand new. Those 2 things right there will save your ass every time. And as far as your description, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. All my descriptions ever say is I'm looking to sell a product for $200 or $300, but if you're interested, I'm willing to negotiate a price. So like I said before, once you do find 5 to 10 products that you think are gonna do good, you're gonna want to go post those products up with other people's pictures, and whichever one of those products you get the most people interested in, you're gonna want to go actually buy that product. So you're gonna want to do 1 to 3 listings on each marketplace, a lot of different colorways, sizes. I would say give it about 1 to 2 weeks to really test. And if you don't have an item that has at least 5 to 10 people interested, I would say chalk all of it and do it all again. If you post all those products and you don't even have 1 listing getting 5 to 10 people interested, obviously you did something wrong in your listing. Once that product is initially ordered, depending on what the product is, if it's a US based product like AirPods or cologne, use the method that I told you guys before. Don't take your listing down, just keep it up, and when the product does get there, just text the person that was interested a week or 2 ago and say, hey, sorry I was out of town, but I'm back in town now if you still want the product. That's what I do every time and it works. Go sell that product, you get you some profit. The second time around is gonna be way easier because you're used to posting products, you've done product research, and you watched this video all the way through, so you kind of get a good idea of what it's like to be a reseller. Whether you're on your 2nd or your 3rd batch, when you do have more money, make sure you're not spending all that money just on one kind of product. You never want to put all your eggs in one basket because if that product doesn't sell, you're literally fucked. And this is from experience. I've done this so many times and I ended up having to sell the product for less than I even got it for because I was a dumbass. I didn't do proper product research and put my eggs in different baskets, so I'm guaranteed a return. You have to save at least 30% of what you have in case it goes all bad and you have to make your money back. Now, once you're on your 5th to 10th batch, it gets to a point, bro. You're gonna hit a ceiling. You can only sell so many products. You can only do so many meetups. It's to the point where you have to go to high ticket now. Either I could sell 20 baked t-shirts and make that 2K, or I could just simply sell 1 watch and make the same 2K. So instead of pulling your hair out and getting all stressed on how you're gonna get these 20 to 100 sales, you simply just have to do 5 sales just at a higher price. Now, what exactly do I mean by a high ticket product? A product that's being sold for way more than usual. So AirPods aren't being sold for no more than like 200. Maybe some AirPod Maxes will, but not normal. Your average baked t-shirt or clothes or Hellstar t-shirt is not being sold for over 150. Now, if I find a Chrome Heart jersey that's being sold for around 600 to 700, that's obviously a high ticket product. If I find a watch that's being sold from 2 to 5K, that's a high ticket product. Like I said, 5 to 20 batches in, this is when you very much need to focus on growing your business instead of just trying to hit a dollar amount. Like, how can I make 10K, 20K, 50K? It's not about that anymore. It's simply about your operation. How are you doing your product research? How many products are being sold a week, and how can you up that number? So whether that's trying to get family members' Facebook accounts so you can go sell on their accounts, so now you can list more places, more eyes on your product, or whether that's giving some of your friends or family some of your products so they can go sell it, keep a percentage, now you're making money in your sleep. You have to start delegating stuff, and you can't do stuff that's just a waste of time. You shouldn't just be shipping out orders all day. You should be doing social media content on you shipping those orders out. If you're getting good sales on marketplaces and you want more sales, I would definitely recommend starting an Instagram, starting a Telegram, because Telegrams are running up a lot of sales. You should be trying to sell vendor links, a high ticket. There's way more to it than just trying to sell a $30 product for way more. Now that's cool at the beginning, you know, when you get your first 1,000, your first 5 to 10K, it's very cool, but then it gets to a point where it's like, okay, what are we doing here? Are we gonna make this an operation, or are we just fucking around? Now the part that I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for, exposing the scams that these resellers have been doing. Number one, just disappointing me because I saw a bunch of people that I've actually talked to on the phone, I've been cool with, texted with. I gave them free game on getting better with their videos, selling their products, and now I'm finding out about these scams. So, you know, I'm not cool with half the reselling industry anymore, honestly. Because one thing about a lot of these people online that you'll never really understand is they'll do anything for money, literally anything. Now what this scam is after you buy their vendor, it'll be in some type of document where it basically says, say I sent you, so that way you can get 50% off. This reseller and that vendor already established that when a person says they come from that reseller, they're gonna scam that person and split it 50-50. That right there is like, whoa, like that right there blew my mind, because it's like, how desperate can you really be for money? So then they bought your vendor, basically sending you money, and then you do that. So not only did you scam them on the initial payment when they bought your vendor, because obviously the vendor don't work, but then once they purchased off that vendor, now they're scammed again. And to see people in the reselling industry that I was cool with, talk on the phone with, teach, bro, you could do this in your video, do that in your video, do this in your Telegram, you'll make way more. Me helping all these people out and then finding out they're doing this was like, whoa. So as you know, a lot of resellers run Telegrams, including myself, which is basically where you sell your product, you ship your product out, you take pictures of all the products that's been sold, you kind of promote your YouTube. It's kind of just like a little community where only you can text. Now this isn't all resellers, I don't want to put this stigma on everybody. Basically in these Telegrams, they only ship once a week. So they'll wait till they get around 20 to 50 orders, and they'll only go ship like 15 of those orders out to make it look like they ship, when really they don't. And it's just a fat ass snowball effect, because every week if you're posting in a Telegram saying that you're shipping products and you're sending a picture, and the picture is you're in a different outfit, everything seems legit, obviously people are gonna believe it. People are gonna get big ass bulk orders with you and everything. That's exactly why this shit is just sick. I'll be hosting a free resellers call with over 100 resellers on October 2nd at 6 p.m. PST. Link in description to join. Because the people who actually ordered off you, once they do see that picture or video of you shipping packages out, they're gonna think that's their package on the way. And what these resellers do is they'll grab one of those tracking numbers and send it to all the people. So then it looks like their package was sent, then it never gets there. And when they go to text that reseller, they just say, damn bro, you must have gave me the wrong address because I did send it. Now with that being said, it's no sales, and I hope I can make some future millionaires out of this video. And if you guys do want to get into an active reselling community, I'll leave a link to my resale vault in the description. I'll also give you guys a private promo code if you're coming from this video. Use code GUIDE for 50% off any of my vendors, guides, bundles, anything. I appreciate you guys watching to the end, and like always, I'll catch you guys in the next one.